Seth Godin calls them the sneezers. So that's where you need to focus.
Is what you just mentioned what you call the 3 C's of LinkedIn?
The 3 C's are part of the basics of LinkedIn course. Glad you mentioned it, Laura. Thanks. So the 3 C's start with content, and it's in order of importance. So I'm not devaluing content, but I'm just placing it in third place. It's still important, okay? Because some people get triggered and say no, content's really important. I concur. It is important, but it's third place. So content that's quality and starts conversations. If you look at all the people that are very successful, invariably they don't share other people's stuff because the algorithm throttles traffic to things that share. It rewards you starting native posts, okay? So your own post. So content that's quality that stimulates conversation. The second C is connections and connection building. So you should be connecting with 2 types of people. One is the people who may buy your product, or those in their ecosystem who could influence that decision. That's actually the smallest portion. The larger portion is the peers and the network and the people who would show up for your content and those that help distribute it. Seth Godin calls them the sneezers. And so these are the people who are like, they will viralize. It's so topical. They will viralize, if you like, the content because they're the ones with 80, 100, 600,000 followers. And they're like, oh, Richard's posted. Oh, I love your stuff, Richard. Oh, that's really cool. That's a really good point. You're such a legend in sales. And they post stuff they write stuff like that. And then LinkedIn feeds more people to it because big hitters are showing up. And whether you like it or not, those people, when courted, if they show up, will help elevate the post. And so, there's no nobility. I want to make this clear for the record. There's no nobility in having wonderful content and refusing to use any tags or anything to distribute it because it's good. It should be good enough on its own, but that's just not how it works. It's just absurd. So it makes sense to distribute it properly. And that's where your time should be spent. So that's the community side. And that's the biggest part is getting down. The way I've described it on the course is you get down from your throne and you actually go out and get to the audience yourself. And it starts with you on other people's content, philanthropically writing valuable comments to them and getting them to say, oh, thank you. That's really nice of you to show up to my content. And you do that a few times, you start becoming familiar. Then they will check you out through curiosity and there's some sense of reciprocity there. So what I would do is regularly, so every day, show up, check out people you find valuable who are heavy hitters as well, and become familiar by showing up on their content, not becoming familiar through trying to get them to show up on yours by tagging them all the time. No one wants to jump into a piece of content when they get tagged on it all the time if there's no relationships prior to it, which is why Jeff Weiner is a really bad idea for someone to tag, because he's not going to see it, because you're not connected to Jeff. It might work once every 1,000 posts, but it probably won't. So connect to people who see value in what you're doing and then tag them meaningfully. But remember, the relationships are what drive this. So those 3 C's really matter: content, connections, and community.